from Game Girl Gourmet, and we are in Southeast Texas, and I am going to break down this hog ham. It's a wild hog ham. They are very prevalent here, and it's something that I myself hunt and lots of other people do as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is you're going to make sure that you have a sharp knife. I just like to start by peeling away the silver skin so you can expose the different muscle groups. So you can see this like fine separation right here. So as you can see, when you kind of like there's a natural separation in between the different muscle groups, and you just kind of work along these lines. This was a smaller pig, so I am not going to cut this apart and take out each and every tendon. This will be more as a roast, and this is like the top round roast, and this is kind of similar to a sirloin. And this is what, you know, we would call the bottom round if it was similar to a beef cow. You can take the whole ham and braise it, but I like to do it this way because some of this meat is so good for stir fries, fried rice, like I said, egg rolls, dumplings, things like that. So now that everything is cleaned up, I am going to start working on making some pork fried rice. I'm just going to add our rice. So now I'm going to prepare the pork for stir frying, and I use a technique called velveting, which is a Chinese technique, and it ensures that the meat stays moist and tender throughout the entire cooking process. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of butterfly this roast open, because I am going to tenderize this a little, because that's just my preference for this style of dish. I like to have, in my fried rice, I like for things to be sliced really thin. I'm going to grab a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and throw this in here. Just pound this pretty thin. Alright, so now that that is pounded thin, I'm going to remove it from the bag. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chef's knife and I'm going to pull back with my fingers and just slice down, making very thin, fine cuts. Now that our pork is cut finely, I'm going to grab a small bowl and then I'm going to mix some cornstarch, oil, and soy sauce, and that's going to give it that nice velvety coating. So I'm going to do a little more than a 1/4 cup of oil, and then I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Make sure everything's nice and coated. Okay, so we are going to heat a few tablespoons of oil, and by a few I mean give a pretty good coating on the bottom of your skillet.
I'm ready.
Okay. So I'm just going to add once we have this like nice golden texture, we're just going to remove it and add it to a towel to drain. So now I'm going to turn this heat down to a medium heat, and I'm going to add our white onion and green onion. So after the onions start to become a little bit translucent, I'm going to add the carrots in because they take a little bit longer to cook. And I just bought some pre-julienne carrots to save time. You can also take some carrots and put them on a box grater, and that works just as well. And I just like to give this a stir every now and then, make sure everything's cooking evenly. Also, it's more of a personal preference thing, but I like to add my garlic a little bit later. I know a lot of people like to saute their onions and garlic at the same time. I prefer to have the garlic flavor a little bit more forward, so I add my garlic a little bit later. All right, so the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to add my rice to the pan. I just added a couple more teaspoons of oil in the middle of this rice, and I've made a hole in the middle, and I'm going to add our eggs now. So I'm just using two eggs. Now we're just going to add our pork back to our fried rice. Take a couple green onion greens, and I'm going to and that is how I like to make wild pork fried rice at home.